Hi there everyone, it's Misty from TheJollyFatElf. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to Fresh Friday. All right, so these two new series start on Wednesday with the Way Back Wednesday, and in that video I showcase, or in that part of the series, I showcase a video from my past. Fridays are for me to make a similar card, either using this, or a different card, either using the same supplies or the same kind of concept, etc. And that's what we're doing today. And it just so happens that a faux neon Friday card is falling on Friday. So that's what we're doing today. If you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I am trying to post every Wednesday and Friday, and also pre-film for surgery, which is happening either May 22nd or 23rd. I don't have the official date yet, but it's either one of those 2 days. And so, yeah, you're going to see a lot of content from me. You're maybe see the same face a few weeks, a few weeks in a row, and that's because I'm also batch filming intros. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Anywho, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment. If you're new, say hi, where are you from, all those kinds of things. I would really appreciate it. So let's head over to the craft table and we'll get started. All right, friends, here is a look at the card that I will be remaking. So I'm going to start with I believe this is the Sweet Shop kit from Queen & Co. Unfortunately, they no longer make this one. I don't know if they'll bring it back or not, but they have an ice cream truck in this kit, and that's the very first thing that popped into my head when I was going through old videos to pick out which ones I wanted to remake. So we're basically going to remake a very similar card, but rather than a static one-dimensional image that I've colored, I'm creating a three-dimensional ice cream truck. So I've pulled out all of the dies and I've cut them out using black and white. So I don't have the outline dies for this, so I've taken the double-sided foam and I've added it to a piece of black paper, and then I'm just trimming around it. So this actually helps because we need something to attach the wheels to. So I'm cutting just a little bit of the wheel, what is that called? You know, the part where the wheel sits. I don't remember what that's called. I cut a little bit of that out, and so I have a place to adhere the wheels. So I am using some foam sprinkles. I have some stars and some hearts that are like neon colored, and then I added a little bit of seed beads. And so I'm going to rip off. I'm going to take off the adhesive and add the acetate. Now, this is why I love Queen & Co. kits, because they come with everything that you need to put inside it. I don't remember which sprinkles this one came with, but again, I had these neon ones and I knew those are the ones I wanted to use. I'm going to be adhering everything else minus the wheels and the awning with snail. So the wheels are black and I'm adhering them with a glue dot, and then the base of the truck is black. The upper part of the truck is white, and then I did a black awning. So here's a trick that I've done several times now is I'm going to color the foam black. Now, if this was purple, I would have found a purple that matched and colored the outside of the foam purple. This just kind of helps you hide it so it's not so stark and in your face. Now, if you were using a pastel, you may not need to do this, but again, we're using black and white, and I wanted to make sure that all of the unnecessary white was colored. Now, I didn't take the time to put these on double-sided adhesives like I normally do, and you can see this is why I would rather just use double-sided adhesive tape, but I didn't, so I'm using some snail to get all of those adhered. These go together really simply, and they're pretty easy to put together. And like, it's really limitless how many combinations you can do with them. So this cute little awning I've put in black. Later I'm going to come in and add a little bit of pattern to it, but not right now. I cut out 2, and I was going to have it go all the way across, and then I decided I didn't like it. So I cut this down to where there's just enough to go over that second window. And I am just making sure that those are both lined up and trying to remove any excess adhesive that I may have on there. I'm going to bring in 2 clear rhinestones for the wheels, and then we're going to move on. So I have this die set from Queen & Co. This is called Christmas Essentials or something to that effect. And these are meant to be ornaments, but I'm going to use them as balloons. So there's an oval, a circle, and then 2 different stars. And I'm bringing in similar colors to what I used before. So I'm bringing in a purple, an orange, a yellow, 2 different aquas, I think, and then a lime green. And again, this is just scraps that I have in my collection, and we're going to get all these cut out. So I'm going to do the little trick that I like to do, which is where I do 2 at once. So I'm going to bring in some washi tape to adhere the 2 pieces of paper together. And then I'm going to add the die on top. That way I've cut out 2 of the shapes at the same time, and it just cuts down on all of the die cutting. Because if you're like me and you're a little bit disabled, that can be a lot of work, more work than what you think when it boils down to it. And I just like to use washi tape. You can invest in that purple tape, but if you're someone like me who's always been into planing, I mean, I made my first Plan With Me video over 10 years ago, so I have washi tape that I will never use in a planner, and that's what I use for things like this. Just make sure you rub it on the back of your hand to remove some of the stickiness, and I'm going to get those ran through, and we're going to get those taken apart. I really like these 2 because they are stitched. And you guys know I love the look of stitch dies for sure. So I'm bringing in some white embroidery floss. I'm going to cut a piece of this in just a couple of seconds, and I'm going to remove it because it comes as like 5 or 6 in a contain, like in a, it's all, what am I trying to say, Misty? Like it's all wrapped up together. So I'm pulling it so I have the individual pieces rather than the big piece. And we're going to adhere this to the back of the ornament, back of the die cuts using some glue dots. Now I don't have quite enough for all of them, and I didn't want to cut another piece just to have like 1 extra. So I'm going to make it in a way that it looks like there are enough strings for all of them, but we are missing 1 string. So I believe this is a piece of basic black. So I'm using the same card base as I did before. Cut it at 11, I've scored it at 4 1/4. And then I am going to kind of get these situated. And then I'm like, okay, I feel like this card is missing something. And if you remember on the first card, I added some stitching and or faux stitching. And I was like, I don't want to mess with a gel pen. So what I decided to do was to bring in a hole punch. So this is just a regular run-of-the-mill hole punch that you can pick up at your Dollar Tree or, Walmart, etc. And now I'm bringing in a piece of that double-sided adhesive sheet, and I'm going to punch out white paper to use as polka dots. So I'm going to add this adhesive sheet to the back of a thin piece of white. You don't want a very thick piece of white because then it'll be really hard to punch. And I've just removed the top of the punch, and I am going to punch it out, remove the backer sheet, and then get it adhered in a very randomized pattern. So it took probably good, 10 minutes by the time I got it all done. But that was some of me not realizing I punched where there wasn't any adhesive. So I had to punch some more. So that's what you see right there. If you have black and white polka dot paper, that would also work. But I really love how this looks in person. The photographs don't do this justice because there's so much dimension to this card. The polka dots are raised somewhat. Then we have the balloons. Some of them are flat, some of them are raised. Of course, then we have the shaker of the truck. And this turned out so much cuter than I thought it would. And very close to the original, I think. Probably one of the closer ones that I've done so far that's close to the original. So you can see here I'm adding a glue dot to the back of each of the ornaments and then or the balloons, and then I'm adding one of those pieces of the embroidery floss. Some of these are going to be popped up, but most of them are going to be adhered flat. This is one of the ones that's going to be popped up, and you can see there that it kind of looks like the string belongs both to the blue balloon and the green one. Oh, I did bring in one for that. Which one? Maybe I did have enough. I don't remember. Y'all, I made this card 3 weeks ago. I cannot remember. If you missed it, I did make a video about how I have a surgery date. So that is coming up like in a month, which is bananas. So I am going to do my best to get as much content pre-filmed for you, but I'm not making any promises. So if you see me go dark for a little bit, just know that that's me having surgery and I didn't get enough pre-filmed. So yeah, we are going to have an Equality for All Pride collab. So if you're interested, if you're a maker, whether you knit, bake, or whatever, and you want to join our Pride collab, just reach out to me. And I will get you added to our chat and our Facebook group, and you can hop along with this. We are going to be creating for May. I'm not sure about the exact date. We're still working out a couple of things, but we will have everything ready to go. And if you're interested, you're welcome to join us. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the truck using some glue dots. I felt like if I took the chance with tape runner, I was going to make it concave, you know what I mean? And I didn't want to mess with the shaker mechanism of it all. And then I'm just using my scissors to push the rest of the embroidery floss up underneath the truck, so I didn't have to worry about trimming it. So this is a Make-A-Wish Birthday Girl collection from Echo Park, and I brought in this little sentiment strip that says Make-A-Wish. And once I get that adhered, that's it. That's it. This card actually went pretty quickly. I really love how this turned out, and it makes me miss doing Faux Neo Friday just a little bit. You guys will have to let me know if that's something you'd like to see occasionally. It won't be every Friday, I promise. So I brought in a white acrylic pen to add our little highlight, and once I've done that, that's it. So thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I really do appreciate you. Let me know in the comments which one you like, the one from 2017 or today. And just leave a comment for engagement if you would. So whether you leave an emoji, etc., I really do appreciate it. Share with your friends. Give the video a thumbs up. And I will see you next week. If you're into planning, be sure to check out my Planning with the Elf channel. If you want to follow along more with the health stuff, check out my At Home with Misty channel. All right, friends, I hope you have a good day, night, weekend, wherever you are. I love your faces, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye for now.